Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Angela Dryden, and this is video number 5 of the 5 videos I was recording about thoughts and emotions. And my original first video kind of played on the idea of what came first, the chicken or the egg, and saying that when it comes to thoughts or emotions, what actually came first might not be the focus that would help you get the results that you're looking for, but rather just the acknowledgement of that you're experiencing emotion or that you're having a thought. So just kind of adding that concept to a variety of ways to view things is kind of what I was doing with these series of videos that I created. And so I went through different things like on thoughts. And one of the things we talked about with thoughts is that the fact that there could be a trigger. So we talked about trigger, the past, and how you're visualizing and you're thinking about the past during the moment right now. So it's not actually taking place, but we're viewing or we're thinking about the past. And so certain emotions come up and certain thoughts begin to come up as well during that time. And so we talked about triggers in the sense of something that might trigger or set you off in a certain way. It doesn't even have to set you off. It could just trigger an emotion. It doesn't have to get you angry or sad. It could even just trigger an experience, a thought that you had. And so viewing that when we have thoughts. And then we talked about emotions and different things. I talked about emotions. One of the things we talked about was sensation. So that our body, brain sensation versus an emotion, or a feeling that we're having. So we're having a feeling, and then there's a sensation in our body, whether we feel pain or we feel hunger or tired, might be a sensation which would be different in a perspective than a emotion of a feeling that we're experiencing at that time. So I talked about that too. So a wide variety of things that I talked about. If you want to review anything that I discussed, go back to my videos. It's on thoughts and emotions, and there's 5 videos, this being number 5, as I review a little bit about those things. And so I wanted to offer this at the end of the video for video number 5, is that if you are struggling when it comes to detaching from a thought and an emotion in a situation, because one of the things that I talked about is that when it comes to a thought, when we start to have a thought, so our reaction to something, that is usually stemming from a circumstance, right? So we have a circumstance in our life that is factual, that is something that's happening. So maybe words that somebody said, exact words, or the exact situation or circumstance that's going on at that particular time. Those are things that are happening. And most of circumstances are out of our control. So it's not something that we get to control. What we do get to control is our thought and our reaction to that. When I talked about thought or reaction, I talked about that there could be a trigger in there. So a circumstance happens, right? And then we get a trigger, something from the past that triggers, say, an emotion that we feel. So, right? So now we have an emotion and feelings come up. So those are kind of some things, just a review, a recap of what I talked about. And so I wanted to offer this. If you feel like you are having a hard time with detaching from the circumstance, so again, going to the circumstance and thinking, okay, this is happening. What is my response to it? Maybe there's a trigger that's happening. Maybe I'm experiencing a sensation on top of a feeling at this time. And so realizing that there is a lot of things in play when we are experiencing a thought in our life, or we're experiencing or we're having a thought about the past and we're experiencing an emotion. So there's a lot of things in play when it comes to us. We aren't just, just a one-sided figure, right? So we're just one thing, that's it, we're a robot, whatever. We're not that. We actually have many emotions. We have many thoughts on a daily basis. So many things come up for us. And my what I recommend to clients when I'm coaching them is really trying to find ways that suit you and your lifestyle, the way that you perceive things, to help you detach yourself from the circumstance. So you aren't so hooked onto it that you can't view it and become an observer of your own thinking. And that takes practice. Just like anything else in life, right, worth obtaining, it always is practice. There's practice, practice, practice. We think that we should all automatically have the skill of being able to reason with ourselves. And the truth of the matter is that we have the tools, we have the brain, right? We have the prefrontal cortex, which helps us to actually view things and be an observer of our own thoughts. Because we have that, we can actually develop the skill if we choose to practice it and to start to deconnect. So start to detach from those circumstances and not be so attached to them that we feel like we cannot, we feel like we are at loss to them, instead of realizing that the power we do have is huge, and that the power that we have to actually strategically figure out, to view it, to come up with ideas and things. We don't necessarily need everybody's opinion from all around us for us to discover what is already within us. When we stop and we kind of collect our thoughts and we start to view things and realize that circumstances happen, I'm going to have thoughts that might trigger something in the past. And then within that, there's going to be an emotion that I feel, whether it's a feeling at that time or whether it's a past feeling, or it might be a sensation I feel in my body, whether it's a touch, whether it's hunger, tired, whatever that is, and realizing that we are all encompassing when it comes to that. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a blessing that we have been given. And it is up to us to use and generate our own powers that we have within us to start to take things apart and start to view things and start to detach from them with a sense of love and respect and appreciation for all the things and pieces that we have in our lives, instead of trying to say, well, I want this piece, but I don't want that piece. When we fight against the current, that's when we start to develop more internal resentment and we start to suppress emotions. And by doing that, we start to stop living our authentic self, and we feel like we're hiding all the time. So what I want to offer in these 5 videos that I did, this being number 5, is that detaching from our thoughts is possible, and it is a skill set. And it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that we practice on a daily basis as we decide to become an observer of our own thinking process. And when we do that, amazing things will start to happen, and we can start to create what we want in our world, regardless of the circumstance. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. If you like this content, please make sure to subscribe to my page so that you can get the videos when they come out next. I hope this was useful to you. Please have a blessed day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.